The good news is we are almost done with the writing of this bad boy. We're getting there, right? 6 paragraphs total. We are now working on the 4th paragraph, which math tells me is 4/6 of the way through. Now, if we could break that down, if we could reduce that somehow, I would say something else, but you can't. You cannot reduce 4/6. It's impossible. Oh, 2/3. I was playing dumb. My wife tells me I'm really good at playing dumb. Are you where you need to be? Are you awaiting further instructions? So far, we have written the introductory paragraph, which is for everyone 8 sentences long. Yes. And we wrote the paragraph arguing that the words should be allowed because they do not violate the Constitution. And we wrote the paragraph that says it should not be allowed because it does violate the Constitution, which you either agreed with one and disagreed with the other, or vice versa. You know, what normally I would do is say, all right, now we're going to, excuse me, wow, where did that come from? It's my pet secret cat.
It's in your throat.
It got in there. Yeah. Yesterday, true story, I watched an old woman. She must have been about 85, and she was taking steps about, an inch at a time. She was walking with her little stroller, and in it was a dog on its back, fluffy. I mean, it was just pure fluff. It made me laugh. I laughed. Wow, where'd that come from? Anyway, normally what I would be doing is saying, all right, we are now going to take on topic number 2, which is the idea that you as students are forced to be exposed to religious beliefs. It's a form of coercion, which again, you will either agree or disagree with. And then tomorrow, supposedly, we would write the other side that, no, you're not being forced. But we're going to skip that for now because there are many of you in here writing your own paper for your own topic. And I had said you should be successfully be able to write that thing, except for the last paragraph. You don't really know what I'm looking for. I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for by having us practice write the last paragraph for the flag paper. And then those of you that are writing your own paper, you will take the same ideas and apply it to your own paper. You understand? Do we understand? That means that after today, it is fair for me to expect that you would be done with your own paper tomorrow when it's due. And remember, it's due. Right? Rock and roll quotes. I'm going to use my rock and roll quotes. It's due as in it goes in the grade book due. It's not due as in I'm not taking it. Half credit. Nah, that ain't me. Well, it's me in another class, but not this one. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're ready to write last paragraph. It requires 4 parts. You need 4 things in your last paragraph. You need the big idea, the big idea. What's this all about? That's called contextualization. And then basically the rest is you remind me what you said prior. Okay? I'm going to give you a possible contextualization that you're free to use word for word if you want. If you want to challenge yourself, then come up with your own. But you're free for this paper on the flag to use my idea, which, by the way, I mooched off another student the previous year. I liked her idea so much, I said, I'm going to use that. Okay? And here it goes. Indent. America is the land of freedom, democracy, and tolerance. There's an error here. It says we. Don't do that. Say the U.S. has more denominations, those are religious groups, than any other nation on earth, period. But should religious words be in an oath said daily in public schools all over the country? Question mark. See what you've done? You've made this an important question. This is an important question. It's about freedom, as Braveheart says. Freedom! Any of you ever seen Braveheart? Watch it again with critical eyes, because at one point, as he's running across the field to the English, he has nothing in his hands. Then they go to the English. Then they go back to him. Suddenly he has an axe in his hand. Then they go to the English. Then they go back to him. Suddenly it's a two-handed broadsword. Then they go to the English. They go back to him. Suddenly he's waving a flag. All in the same running.
Is it like a joke?
No, it's editing mistakes. Great website. Just Google movie mistakes. One of my favorite is in the movie Glory. Glory is about the American Civil War. And at one point, there's this little kid, and he's like pointing over there, and you can see his digital watch, which didn't exist during the American Civil War. They didn't have digital watches. In fact, they didn't even have wristwatches. What you did was you removed the timepiece from your front pocket. Oh, I say, it's 11 past the hour. Crickets, tea.
Do you think they really just forgot, or did somebody see it?
I believe they forgot. Okay, how are we doing here? After the big idea, you get to do something really fun. Go back to your first paragraph and copy and paste. Copy and paste the 3 sentences that are in your first paragraph, siding with the side you disagree with. Some people think, for 2 reasons, period. First of all, second of all, copy it and paste it. Copy it from your first paragraph and put it in your 6th paragraph. And then do the same thing with the side you agree with. Copy and paste the 3 sentences in paragraph number 1 for the side you agree with, and paste it here in paragraph number 6. And then you get to copy and paste your thesis. Copy and paste the last sentence of your first paragraph and put it as your 6th paragraph. As you're doing this copying and pasting, you might be thinking, Mr. Potter, that's awful. That makes this a repeat paragraph, basically. It sure does. And I'm giving you the green light to go ahead. Be repetitive. Yes, dear.
You go.
Did you see how quick that was? I went from there to here in about 4 seconds.
So I was like finishing that up, but you said you want all of this right here. Down to here.
First paragraph.
Oh, just the first.
First paragraph.
All right. Okay.
Did you know that these 6 paragraph papers that you're writing are not novels? Phone. Squirrel. Did you know they are not novels? Did you know that when I read these bad boys, I am not going to be reading your paragraph like, my God, what happens next? And then sit down and put a seatbelt on and popcorn? What? No! That ain't these things. I know exactly what you're going to say because I read it in your first paragraph. And then I read it again in your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th paragraph. And then I read it for a 3rd time in your 6th paragraph. This is not a novel. It's more like a boxer, and he's jabbing me 3 times in the face. Your paper is like this. And I'll be like, okay, I get it. Okay? It's not a novel. There are no surprises. Now, I happen to know that there are people in here who are pretty good at this writing thing. I know it. I know that there are people in here who are pretty good. If you chose as your first summative a paper, what you're telling me is, I think I'm pretty good at this sort of thing. I think I'm pretty good at it. You know, I'm not one to brag, but I'm kind of a big deal. Great, fine. Then I challenge you to, in this part right here, where you're saying word for word the same thing, I want you to change it. I want you to say the same thing without saying the same thing. Mix it up. Change it. But get the same message across. Now, if you're like, nah, okay, then don't. I don't care. This practice paper anyway. This is a formative assessment. This paper on the flag is a formative. It counts for like 20% of your, it's in that little 20% of your grade, right? It won't, so I'm not overly concerned. But if you want to get good at this writing thing, then maybe sometimes you gotta, take a shot here and change it up a little bit. For those of you who are writing as your first summative a paper, you should, in your 6th paragraph, get the same message across differently. You should try and state it differently. Get the same message across. Excuse me. Hello? Yes. Ziana Rivard gets out of here. Ziana is out of here. Goodbye, Ziana Rivard. Goodbye, Ziana Rivard. You are out of here. Get out. Taking everything with you. You know what this is about?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Great. How are we doing? Any questions? Okay. Once again, I'm going to be giving you a nice chunk of time. Don't get used to it, because I will say this, starting Monday, we go into our next unit of study, cults. Oh, woo! Crazy cults. And we're going to get into Jim Jones and people that commit mass suicides and all this stuff, and it's great. But that means that I will be taking significant chunks of class time to talk about cults and patterns and people like that. And so, by the way, I loved the reaction. That was awesome. Okay. What I don't want is when I throw out the next topic and people are like, oh.
You go from cults to
Yeah, right. I told my wife that, when I'm trying to be funny in class, my goal, I don't know if you know this, but my goal is by the end of the year that this is the reaction. So I'm you, right? And so Potter's just done something that he thinks is funny. This is what I want. That's my goal, right? For you to say like this again. Why does he do this? That's what I want. So I'm getting there. Why? I don't know. I think that's an awesome reaction. It's real. It's real. You're not like, I have to laugh now because he's the person that gives me a grade. I don't know. I want. Can we get on with it? So give me time. Okay. Anyway, this might be music to your ears, but the rest of the hour is once again for you. Do you want to work on your summative, which is due tomorrow? Do you want to work on your debate, which is next week, Wednesday? If some of you are ready to talk to me about your summative, awesome. I'll be right there. And let's talk. And let's get her going here. Yes, dear.
If we were to present your class or anything, will that be?
Starting tomorrow. Yep. If you are going to be sharing your material with the class, it starts tomorrow. I don't want to start it today because I think some of you would appreciate some time to work, and so I don't want to take away that time away from you. But don't count on any time after today. Don't count on any time to work on your first summative, because tomorrow's all about what you've done, sharing it. And starting Monday, we get to talk about crazy, crazy religious nutcases. So anyway, okay. Any questions?
How do you plan the topic for you?
Well, there are 4 big topics in this class, and then after that we get into minor topics. But one is education and family, check, kind of cults, crime and deviant behavior, and then race. Right?
I'm excited for it.
And then after that we get into things like the liberal media and government, and we get into other things. Yes, you want me to walk over there? Yes. Any other general questions before I let you go? Okay, but any more general questions before I kind of sit down with people one-on-one? Okay, great. I will put on a little Mozart. Actually, Vivaldi today. I think I'm going with